Welcome to the Jacksonville Bar Association podcast. My name is Craig Shoup. I'm the Executive Director here at the Jacksonville Bar Association. We're excited to have Lynn Salvatore with us today. Lynn was admitted to the Florida Bar in 1990 after graduating from the University of Florida Frederick G. Levin College of Law. Lynn joined Zisser Family Law in 2017, and prior to that, she worked as an attorney for both the Florida Department of Children and Families and the Florida Guardian Litem program. Lynn is Martindale-Hubbell AV rated. Before we get started, I do want to say a special thank you to all of our Jacksonville Bar Association sponsors. These sponsors include Ameris Bank, Dex Imaging, Dixon Hughes Goodman, Member Benefits, Mulholland Investigation and Computer Forensics, Orange Legal, a Veritex company, Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company, YFast Networks, CH Mediation, Ullman Wealth Partners, Diamonds Direct, and Scarlet Group. At this time, we do have a quick message from one of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Scott Hall with Ameris Bank. We know that business has changed a lot in the past year. However, one thing that will never change is our commitment to serving our customers. Law firms like yours are crucial to Jacksonville, and our team specializes in tackling the issues that are important to attorneys. At Ameris, we know that especially in these unique times, you still need a solid, stable financial partner to turn your plans into action. Ameris Bank is committed to getting you what you need and to get you where you're going. Visit us online at amerisbank.com or call me personally at 421-3049. I look forward to talking with you.
We appreciate the support of all of our partners here at the Jacksonville Bar Association. Well, Lynn, after all that, welcome. We're glad you're with us today.
And thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about you growing up and what led you down the path to want to be a lawyer.
I was a Navy brat. My father was in the Navy. We moved around a lot. But my grandfather was a lawyer and a senator in Mississippi many years ago. And I am one of 18 grandchildren, the only one who went to law school and became a lawyer. I was fascinated listening to his stories, especially of criminal law. My grandfather was not someone that you messed around with either in the courtroom or on the sidewalk.
So we know you've been practicing for a number of years now. I'm sure you've got some amazing stories from trials and cases you've been a part of. What's one or two you could share with us that still stick out to you today?
I do have a lot of war stories, as I call them, and we could go on forever with that. Maybe someday I'll write a book. But one of the things, several stick out in my mind. One that was just had to have looked hysterical from the outside. It was a termination of parental rights case in front of Judge Gooding before he retired, and I was privately retained to represent the legal father. The case was against the biological father, who was one scary guy. He had his sister outside the courtroom during the breaks taking photos of witnesses. So we notified the bailiff, who then notified the judge. And so the judge had the bailiff take the woman's phone from her, had her testify as to whether or not she had sent any photos that she had taken, sent any texts. She said she hadn't, but the judge wanted to make sure, and he asked all of the attorneys in the courtroom to take a look. There were about 5 of us standing around this tiny little flip phone, cell phone, trying to figure out, has she sent any texts? I don't know. Does anybody know how to work this phone? In the meantime, judge is saying, well, if we can't figure this out, then I'm just going to have it destroyed. The phone will be destroyed, and we're furiously trying to figure it out. And I just said, this is a new one. I haven't had to do this in the middle of a trial before. And I've never seen a witness so scared because he was threatening her with jail if she had sent any photos by text to anyone. So that was one. And another case was one that was another dependency case, and I was privately retained representing the grandparent who was bringing the case against the mother. And we'd had a hearing in front of the general magistrate where the mother testified that she completed her case plan and that she had not been involved in a bar fight where she was working at the bar. And then her boyfriend testified that she wasn't her, she wasn't the one on the video, and she wasn't involved in the fight. And the hearing continued to another day, and that's when I brought in the Clay County deputy who had the video from the bar as evidence, which clearly showed, as I started it, and had him describe word by word, scene by scene. And now who do you see raising the beer bottle in the air? I see the mother who's sitting right over there. And it was just, it was like one of those Perry Mason moments, which most attorneys never have. But everything just fell into place, and I thought, that was perfect. Couldn't have done it better if I had planned it.
So with all those stories, I know you've always had different resources around. A lot of folks who are part of the bar are very good at networking with each other. Tell us some of your involvement in the bar and why you think it's important that everyone here in the Fourth Circuit is a member of the JaxBar.
Well, one of the things, Jacksonville is a huge geographic area. We have a lot of people, but we're still a small town in the sense that we have that community. I think that the JaxBar allows us to network with each other. We're very spread out. So when we are able to, not during a pandemic, but we're able to come together face to face with people, not in the courtroom, that really encourages a lot of camaraderie. And then you get to know people outside the courtroom, but as attorneys, of course, we can't stop talking about cases in the law. So at the same time, we're picking everyone's brains. It's an opportunity to meet the judges when they're not wearing their robes. And for the bar, the local bar, they offer a lot of continuing legal education opportunities. And I kind of miss some of the ones that we were able to go to before COVID happened when they were at the courthouse. One of those sticks out in my mind for the family law folks, where we had a former FBI agent, private investigator, come and gave us the basic technology do's and don'ts. Everyone in that room, everyone learned some very, very important things that I've taken with me. And now when I meet a new prospective client, I go over that information with every single person in that consultation. And I don't know if I would have ever gotten that information if I hadn't gone to that. I've never seen that information provided by anybody other than the Jacksonville Bar Association. And, you know, a lot of times you get referrals as well as being a member of the Jacksonville Bar Association and participating in the various sections and community outreach that they have. And so I've gotten a lot from them. I really have. The chili cook-off, I used to love that. The Young Lawyers Division would do that. We aren't competitive at all as attorneys, so I was never in that cook-off to win. It was all about the fun.
So, and we talked a little bit about young lawyers. In the last, especially handful of years, we've seen a lot of young lawyers graduating law school, staying here in Jacksonville, and we've seen a lot of, especially with Zoom now, attorneys are coming from all different parts of the state to practice here in North Florida. What do you think that these new lawyers or new lawyers practicing in the Fourth Circuit should know that they don't know?
Well, of course, I'm a seasoned attorney, and that we like to say that instead of old. But I have been practicing law a long time, and I still remember what it was like the first 5 years I was practicing law, and I was always terrified because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And what is really important for new attorneys, not necessarily young attorneys, but folks who've just been recently admitted or have only been practicing a year or two, is partner up with some of the other folks in the Jacksonville Bar Association who are seasoned or have been doing this longer. It's so important to be able to run things by attorneys, to ask information about, have you been in front of this particular judge? What are the pet peeves? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? You're going to reduce your stress level when you do that. Plus, you're going to be a better advocate for your client. You're likely to get a better result for your client if you're working with another attorney as a mentor, and it doesn't have to be an official mentor. There are so many attorneys in Jacksonville and in the surrounding area who are more than happy to give the war stories, if you will, to younger attorneys. There are two other things I think I would like young attorneys, the newer attorneys, to know is, if you do not know the answer to something, do not be afraid to say you don't know. I always tell my clients, I don't know. That's why God invented Google. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm like, I'm not an encyclopedia. So I'll look it up and then I'll answer it for you. I don't know. I think that's one of the big fears as a new attorney is you're going to be asked something and you don't know the answer. I've had to tell judges before, well, Your Honor, I don't know, but I will be happy to get back to you with the answer. And the last thing is for young attorneys or new attorneys is if you are wrong, just admit it. You will get a lot of credibility with everyone, including the court, if you were wrong on a position or a fact or on the law. And I think it will really serve you well if you admit that. No one will think less of you because we are all human. We all make mistakes. It's going to happen. It will be okay. That would be my 3 points, I think, for the new lawyers.
I know in this series of podcasts we've been doing, we keep hearing over and over and over the importance of mentors, both inside your firm and outside your firm. So I think that's you're another one that's come through and hammer that home. That's so important that these young lawyers connect with a seasoned attorney here in town, for sure.
Absolutely.
So this is my favorite question in this series, and it's kind of how we used to wrap up and keep it fun. What are some of your favorite restaurants to have dinner with your family at here in town?
Well, we typically like to go to what we consider local restaurants, local eateries, rather than the big chains. And even when we travel, we like to do the same thing. So back when Pizza Palace first started many, many years ago, I'm aging myself here, their very first place was walking distance of where I lived. And so we went there every Friday night, my entire family, my sisters, my husband, my parents, we would all meet up there. So Pizza Palace, no longer around, but that was definitely our favorite pizza place years ago. Then Burrito Gallery, same thing, started out downtown, then spread out. Places like that. Orsay, I don't take the kids to that. Orsay and Black Sheep, I have a cousin there, a young cousin, who works there in the kitchen. Amazing, amazing food. So we try to stay away from the chain stuff.
That's all great spots. I know if I love pizza myself, so if I lived walking distance to a pizza place, I wouldn't be able to fit in this chair. So it's just a great stories and great places, and being able to have that walking distance too. I think that's one of the great things about Jacksonville. There's so many different neighborhoods that are walkable to those local eateries. We've had people come talk about this, all the places in San Marco, walking to Taverna, walking to all those shops in there for sure. So, well, if somebody wanted to maybe reach out to you with, hey, what does this judge think about this? Or, hey, I've got a referral for you for a client I think you could work well with. What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
You can call me at my office and also send me an email to my office email. Those are both great ways to reach me. And likely I will end up returning your call from my cell phone. And then once you have my cell phone, then of course you can text me to your heart's content.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. Is there anything you think you need to tell the folks out there that we didn't get a chance to touch on?
Do we need to have more time?
No.
Do we need filler? I'm just kidding.
No.
No. I could have told you about, where my heart really is as far as what part of the practice of law.
What is it?
It is, I'll tell you what is really, really, and I never thought this would be, because this is not what I wanted to do when I was in law school. My undergraduate degree is business, so I wanted to be a transactional attorney or a corporate attorney. That's not what happened. I became a family law attorney and a general practitioner. But what has happened over the years is my being an attorney ad litem for children or a court-appointed guardian ad litem, the dependency work that I used to do, that is really where my heart is. That's where my passion is, and I would still be doing that if I could make a living at it, but I have teenage daughters, and they're very expensive. So that's what I would be doing probably all day long.
I think that's something our state and our country look at regularly. It's the pay of guardian ad litem attorneys, assistant public defenders, assistant state attorneys. It's just the turnover in those offices are so high.
When I worked at the Department of Children and Families, and I handled all of the child sex abuse cases, that unit, for about a year, as well as several other units, I was being paid less than $28,000 a year. Yeah.
That's, wow.
They pay a lot more now, but still, it's not enough for what anyone who works for those agencies, what they do.
It's really a labor of love.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, with that, thank you for coming. Thank
Sure.
you for sharing your passion with us, sharing your knowledge, and we appreciate you and your part of the bar, being part of the bar. So with that, we appreciate everybody stopping by and checking out our episode here. We look forward to seeing you on our next turn here at the Jacksonville Bar Association.